Hi everyone, it's me Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. Today we're going to be playing around with the items that came in the April 2021 Artsnacks box, but we're also going to be pulling in some other art supplies to create a finished project. I decided to draw a crow from one of my favorite video games, The Longest Journey, which is actually a trilogy from The Longest Journey into Dreamfall chapters. I've been playing him again recently, and I forgot how much I love Crow. He's just a great little humorous sidekick, and he's kind of awesome. As you saw, we got our sketch in using the mechanical pencil that we got in the box. At this point, I am layering down some light blues and purples for my base. I'm pulling in a variety of alcohol-based markers, and that list of the supplies that I am using will be in that description box down below. After getting my base layers in, I start pulling in the Pentel Artscolor brush pen in Sepia. I knew that mixing it with the blues would create a color very, very close to black. This is the best way I could figure out how to use that Tombow Art Pro alcohol-based marker that I got in medium blue, and the sepia that we got. As always, I'm going to start going pretty ham in with that white gel pen. It's good for pulling some white back out, especially if you're doing fur or feather details. I really like the effects that I was able to get here. It is very illustrative and it actually reminds me of comic book art. I always have to do a bunch of layers even with marker drawings. It's actually a problem, I know. I'll also be going between softening up the lines and then making them even whiter and brighter as I go. I just pull the other markers over it, typically the pale purples and the pale blues that I have going on already in the drawing. I also start pulling in the black liner that came in this month's box, which is a Kuretake-ZIG Cocoiro letter pen. Mine is in black, and the case, it has some alligators or crocodiles and bananas on it. I kind of love it. It's adorable. Besides the outside of that marker just looking cute, it also works very well. The tip is fairly flexible. I'm able to get some nice thin lines with it, but it's also versatile enough to get some of those thicker ones going on. At this point, I'm also using the white gel pen to clean up some of my mistakes with the outline. This ends up making a little bit of a mistake later because I do decide to make the background a different color than white, but it ends up working out okay still. I have not mentioned the paper that we are using at all today. I am using a SketchBox Magna 1404 Italia DS 100% cotton watercolor pad. It's 140 pounds. It's pretty thick. It works pretty well, obviously, for watercolor, which is what it's intended for, gouache, ink, and acrylic. Technically, with alcohol-based markers, you're not supposed to use watercolor paper because it can ruin the markers, but I like it because of how much I layer. I find it helpful versus some of the other options paper-wise. Basically, with this kind of paper, since it's made for watercolor, if I'm using alcohol-based ink on it, I don't have to worry as much about it rippling, ripping, tearing through, or ruining the paper as much as some other options. This is the point where I realized I needed to pull in a background color. The white of the paper did not stay as clean as I would have liked it to because I made a couple of mistakes, so I pulled in a grayed out lavender to have for the background. I chose this color because I didn't want it to compete with all the detail we have going on in Crow right now. I also wanted it to complement all of the other colors we have going on. Since I have those blues and those purples already built into the drawing, pulling in a really soft, more gray purple or blue is really the best option for the color sense that I'm going for here. For the feet, I explicitly decided to use less color as well because I wanted the bright blues and purples to mostly be in his feathers. Obviously, this is a very high contrast, exaggerated version of like what a crow would look like, but with any kind of black animal or item, it's always going to reflect other colors that are around it. For instance, my black cat isn't fully black. If you look very closely, you'll be able to see brown or blue, or sometimes even yellow, depending on where he's sitting. But I am someone who grew up watching Rainbow Bright. I really love using colors, and I think that is something that you shouldn't be afraid to play around with. Just like with anything in art, you gotta experiment and play around in order to learn how to do anything. For all of the tiny lines that I have going on in the feathers, I am particularly focusing on making sure that they are not uniform. You do not want them to all be the same size and all going in the same direction. If you look at an animal that has feathers or has fur, you're going to see that all of them kind of go in little different directions, and it's much better to focus on the idea of the motion like which way they're turned in the basic shape rather than copying it perfectly from a photo. I say this as someone who had to kind of make up a lot of the texturing that we have going on in the bird right now. Crow from the video game, at least the reference photo I used, this one was from 2006, it's the second game, and obviously computer graphics, especially in 2006, aren't comparable to now, so a lot of these little lines and details wouldn't be findable in any way, shape, or form. They were just like slight ideas sculpturally of where it would be. I'm also making sure that the texturing that I'm using for the feathers is very different than what I'm doing in the beak. The white highlights that I have in the beak are more just like little hatch lines that are straight but in a diagonal fashion. I do something similar with the feet where I do curved horizontal lines to create different texturing there as well. Because there is so much texture I have going on here, it's very important to differentiate the texture between different parts of the bird. Otherwise, it'll all kind of bleed together. But with that, this project and therefore this video are pretty much done. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, concerns, or you want to just talk to me about markers, let me know all about that in the comment section down below. If you would like to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. I do art box unboxings here on this channel, and obviously, we do some drawings and paintings. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day or night to watch this video and listen to me ramble. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon, and you will most definitely be hearing from me soon. Bye, everybody!